Well, welcome back to the Sports Code, well, previously known as Benchwarmers. But we've been 2 weeks we haven't had a podcast, so we've rebranded.
We finally got a name.
We've finally got a name that isn't already copyrighted, and we've got a lot to talk about. A lot has happened. I think we should
A lot
quickly
to talk
say,
about with less people.
Yeah,
Owen
Owen
is not here today.
He's at a driving test, but you've got the three of us. So yeah, let's dive into what we want to talk about. First is Liverpool. I think over the last 2 weeks, that's probably the biggest talking point. Then we've got United. I think that's, resurgence. Certainly a difference from when we were sat here 2 weeks ago and what was going on there. Then I think we should talk about Sunderland because of how well they're doing. Spurs for you. I have a few pointers I want to say about that. I was going to talk about Celtic for Owen, but he's not here, so I don't think there's much point in that. We want to talk about Wolves, and then we'll do some predictions for next week because we haven't been able to do that recently. So,
And the League of Ireland.
and the League of Ireland, sorry.
Jeez, can't be forgetting me now, lads. Come on, that's the only.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing I have gone for me.
So, to start, we'll talk about Liverpool. I think in the last 8 games, they've only won 2 matches. I did want to ask, is Slot under pressure?
I wouldn't say so.
Really?
I wouldn't say so.
Too early to say so just yet. I mean, they're after clawing back another win there against Villa, 2-0. Strong performance. Well, it's going off of last year. Obviously, they won the league. But it's Klopp's team and Klopp's players that won the league.
Yeah,
it is Klopp's team that won the league. Because it's not like, he's had a job like Amarim or where it's been constantly changing for when they've come in. It's that team's consistently been good. He has a majority of the players who've won the Champions League and won that Premier League with Klopp. So,
yeah, what I think is, I think all the almost growing pains that they had in the most recent weeks, I think they're almost a year in the making. I think they should have happened last year. I don't think anyone would have made any pointers about it if it did happen last year because it's a new manager, new system for players to get used to, but because it's happening now, obviously they won the league, there's a lot of criticism on them. I just think somehow they're still third, which is pretty remarkable considering they've only won 2 of their last 8 games. That is all competitions, but one of the things I wanted to highlight most was, I think, although they're not bad going forward, defensively, they've gotten a lot worse. I think Kirkes in particular has been exposed a bit.
a lot of people have criticised Kirkes, and rightfully so. Obviously, he scored that goal the other week, but he did score in a lot. He hasn't been nearly the same player he has been at Bournemouth. And
He's been awful.
Even
so
I don't even think Frimpong has been playing that well either. It's the two fullbacks. Only a few years ago, Liverpool had the 2 best fullbacks in the world. Robertson and Trent were, phenomenal for them, and it worked the system well. But now it's looking as if Slot is going to have to do a complete rehash with the players he has.
Yeah, I think they didn't give Trent his contract over his defensive contributions, although he was great going forward. I think they were scared that they were conceding goals because of him and his not being able to mark the back post or not looking over his shoulder. I don't think Kirkes does it either.
No, I don't think Frimpong does it very well either, to be totally
No.
honest.
I think he's more of a winger. I don't think he's defensively. I think he's poor.
At the same time, though, Trent.
Yeah.
Trent was very similar to Frimpong. But Liverpool, they struggled a little defensively, but not as bad now. They've looked so poor defensively. Van Dijk's looked terrible. Kanat has looked really bad. And then Kirk is obviously Frimpong as well, and Alisson's been out. But I don't know, do you think their bad form is over? Do you think they're going to bounce back now after beating Villa 2-0?
Yeah, I think I think the Villa's result is a very good result, I think. But it's just weird because there's so many bad results in those games. I think Crystal Palace, although they played a kids team, they were really poor. Against United, they were really poor. And that's one thing I wanted to highlight, and you mentioned it, with Konate and Van Dijk. Their partnership doesn't look right.
No.
I think the Mbeumo goal is one that highlighted that the most, when Van Dijk almost pushes Mbeumo onto Konate and says, that's your responsibility. When, I think when the challenge is made on McAllister, Van Dijk has almost 5-10 seconds to react and sprint back ahead of Mbeumo. And it's just that communication isn't there. Konate looks rusty all season. I think he's finally coming into a bit of form. He's probably the better centre-back against United. But would you be worried with this inconsistency if you were a Liverpool fan that, well, we've won now, but we're going to lose another 3 or 4 games now going forward? They have Real Madrid and Man City to come next week.
Tough. I don't think they'd be Real Madrid at all.
No.
But I'm worried as a Spurs fan. I don't see Arsenal win the league. No way. Can Liverpool or City cop on here?
United gone on a title charge. Not even worried about it.
Wouldn't say that now.
We'll get on to that in a minute.
I imagine United win the league before Arsenal. Come on.
I'd rather.
Yourself win.
But I think what's interesting to ask is, if you were a Slot, what would you change about this? How do you get that team's mentality back to a team that was so ruthless last season in winning games, and now all of a sudden, they've hit this patch of either conceding late goals and not being able to start well, or struggling throughout games?
It's just a little bit Liverpool, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going from the start of the season when, Liverpool only won matches the last 5-10 minutes are going into at a time, and at the time it was people being like, oh well, champions are going to do that, great teams are going to do that, which great teams are going to do that, but you're seeing kind of the repercussions of leaving it up to them last few minutes of, are you going to outdog your opponent? And when it comes down to it, and another team, the players just want it more, it just isn't working for them.
Yeah, I think what's a weird, and you're talking about that kind of mentality and kind of working harder than your opponent, whatever. I think Chiesa has that, and it's weird. Chiesa hasn't started by the Carabao Cup. He hasn't started a Premier League game.
I was gonna get onto that. Yeah, he's got to take Salah out that squad. No disrespect to Salah, but he just looks tired. He looks so tired. I know he scored a good goal against was it Brentford? Yeah, on the right foot. That was a good, well taken goal. But he can't really take anyone on at the moment. He's old, but give him a little bit of a break. Give Chiesa a run, and maybe even try Isak without a Salah. I don't know. It could work, but I think he's got to drop Salah for a few games.
I think dropping Salah definitely it's gonna be the way to go. It's hard to drop a player like Salah because of his contributions and because of what he's done over the past few years. He has been a top player, probably one of the best Premier League players in the past few years, and he's shown that he can be immense. But it kind of comes down to now, when a player's not performing and a player of his standard isn't performing, if he's going to get dropped, is he kind of going to go? Because he did get dropped the other week, and he put up stuff on Instagram, and if a player is going to be like that, do you really want that type of player going to be around the squad?
Yeah.
Even it doesn't matter how good they are, how good of a servant they've been to the club. Do you want that negativity coming from a player getting dropped and not playing when they're not performing?
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think most of the signings they made are young signings. The likes of Wirtz, Ekitike, Frimpong, all young. Are they trying to build a young core? Likes of Gravenberch is still young, McAllister still young. Are they trying to build this young Kirkes as well, trying to build a young core? And maybe Salah is just that bit too old that they can't really develop.
I think Slot's trying to give it a bit of a rebuild here, but it's taking a bit of time. And I think with the City run as well, because obviously Pep with City won 4 in a row, 3 in a row, blah blah blah. People underestimate how hard it actually is to win 2 Premier Leagues back to back. It's actually a really tough job. Just because City were so dominant, I think a lot of people have forgotten that. And I don't know, with Liverpool just haven't hit the ground running. They need to take a bit of time. They need to maybe make a few changes and stop Arsenal from winning the league, please.
Yeah.
But it also comes down to the fact, like, how much will Liverpool have spent so much money in this window.
I think they spent too much.
Verts for 150 million, and he has been quite bad. He hasn't been. He's gotten 1 assist in all competitions. You have Isak. He's coming from Newcastle, being one of the top goal scorers and one of the most dangerous players, and he looks nothing like the player he was. Ekatike has shown, fair enough. But these are players you're buying for 100 million plus.
You expect more.
You are expecting more from it.
Yeah.
And I wonder what Ekatike is thinking, that he's joined Liverpool, chose him over Newcastle, possibly United at one point, possibly Chelsea at one point, and he's sat there. They've bought Isak. Isak's obviously going to be first choice because of how expensive he is. Ekatike did hit the ground running at the start of the season. He must be livid. He must be absolutely fuming.
But there was something similar with Suarez at Liverpool, because Liverpool signed Suarez from Ajax, and they also in the same season they signed Andy Carroll, from Newcastle,
40 million,
and he was expected to be the big name, the big striker, but it was actually Isak. So I don't understand why Ekatike is not getting more recognition. I think Isak's been horrendous for Liverpool. He's been so bad, and I think his attitude has a lot to do with that as well. He didn't have a pre-season. I don't think they should ever have signed him. I think it imbalances the squad a lot. What's
weird is that excuse of not having a pre-season. We're in November. There's games been played. He's played halves. Yeah. It's weird that that's still a thing, that he hasn't had a pre-season. His fitness isn't still up to scratch. But they've played well over 10 games so far.
I know, yeah.
So it's weird. I'm talking about runs of form. I think it's a good segment to go on to Man United.
Well, ended.
So when this last podcast happened, when we went into the international break, United just won their first game, and it was against Sunderland for this run. They're now unbeaten in 4. Obviously, they won 3 in a row before the weekend.
The poor fella's never going to get the cut through.
Yeah, no, he's never going to. I was going to just ask, what do you think is the contributing factor? I think it's confidence. I think you can see they're all confident now and they can trust the goalkeeper. But what do you think?
Confidence definitely has a part to play. I think it's a lot of these players it's their first time playing in a system like this. A lot of players that are coming in, are coming from 4-2-3-1s, mostly 4-backs. They're adjusting to it, and the way Amarim wants the system, they're buying into it now, and it is working. But that being said, although it's working, I still don't think Amarim's anywhere near out of the clear, because he still needs, I think, 20 wins or something to pass Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's record, and he was sacked in last time, and he was sacked for way less. Solskjaer got a second place finish with a team full of nearly dejected players who, even Mourinho was coming out and saying you can't do anything with that squad. Getting second place, getting to a Champions League semi-final, which was, lost because of the goalkeeper. It kind of, you're kind of thinking, a lot of people are overlooking just how bad Amarim has been.
Yeah.
Statistically, only getting, he's only after getting back-to-back Premier League wins there.
I think it's the standard you've dropped to almost.
It is.
Bad standard.
It's great seeing, 4 games unbeaten, haven't lost a game in 4, brilliant. But for so long, any United fan has been going, "Oh, we've won a game, can't wait to lose the next one now." Kind of, it's the constancy of mediocrity that we've settled to, and just because a little good run of form comes on, it's different if he's gonna keep it up. If he keeps it up for another 20 games, we get top 4. Yeah, fair enough. But if it's only going to be a short stint where we're not losing a few games and we're going back to normal, he still needs to be questioned.
I think it's an interesting one that you bring up Solskjaer, because we had this conversation the other day with that he did get second place and that he got sacked when they were 7th. At Watford, he got sacked away. They were still in the Champions League group stage at the time. They weren't even... Amarim was, 17th at one point last season, 16th at one point?
He was,
that the standard has dropped, the mentality has dropped. This 4 wins has kind of been a shield for him. They can say, well, no, sorry, not 4 wins, 3 wins in a row, 4 unbeaten. It kind of has been a shield, and all the criticism kind of has slowly gotten away. But I think if they did go and started losing now all of a sudden, I think it would be back straight away. I think the Forest game on the weekend, the fact that they somehow came out at half-time, they were doing well in the first half, came out at half-time, and in the space of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, they were 2-1 down, shows you that kind of confidence, although it's there, it is still very leaky, still very vulnerable. Would you agree?
Well, with United, I think Almirez has a lot to answer for. I think the fans, you've had your time in the sun, you're above Liverpool for 1 game week. But really, if you look at your last 5 fixtures, okay, you lost to Brentford, who were really poor 3-1. You beat a newly promoted side 2-0 at home, and that was brilliant because, well, according to United fans, it was okay. Sunderland are a good side, but
second place at the time.
Come on, Old Trafford. Yeah. Sure. You beat an out-of-form Liverpool side at Anfield. Now, that's a good win. I'm not taking away from that, but they lost 6 out of 7
it's best time
games.
To play them.
Yeah, exactly. You almost let it slip to Brighton,
yeah,
and that's not a great Brighton side either. And then you drew to a Forest side that's been struggling the entire season. And your next 3 fixtures, you've Tottenham Tottenham away, Everton at home, and then Crystal Palace away.
What I wanted to say from that is, in Amram's press conference after the game, he said the word confidence. He said it 8 times throughout his press conference. He also said, which I think could show improvement, he said that United would have conceded several goals in that Forest game and the Brighton game last season, showing maybe probably dig at Onana.
That is
but maybe he's hinting an improvement. I guess off last season, probably anything would happen, but I do agree with him in that regard that they look a bit more solid. Defensively, though, they were poor for both goals. I think they both of them, all of them switched off for it. But what do you think of Lamans? I was going to go on to him, kind of bringing this confidence. He's yet to lose as a United goalkeeper. Do you think he's brought a bit of confidence with him?
Definitely. I mean, it's not like he's, top of the range and like the best I've ever seen, but like it's a refreshing take to see a goalkeeper actually be able to deal with the basics. And but that's cool. That's it's saying a lot about United in the past few years. The fact that a keeper comes in and is able to climb across, and everybody kind of heads head over heels for it, and like it really shows like kind of how the club has been over the past few years. I think it's very, very good to see happen, but kind of had we gotten a better goalkeeper sooner, would the situation be different? Would it, if Ten Hag had have not wanted to try and rebuild his Ajax team, would he still be in charge?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the keeper does bring confidence because I'm sure you remember when the Ten Hag's first year when they started going on a run. It's because the defence could trust De Gea with saving now. I wouldn't trust him sometimes with his kicks and stuff. That brought Onana in basically to the club. But at the time his saves, he kept us in many games. Varane and Martinez made a good back two pairing at the time. Maybe it does have to start with the goalkeeper and you bring that confidence into the rest of the team. But as somebody in the comments said, that United after 10 games are only 2 points off second. So it is an improvement, obviously, from last season. And it does show you, if you go on a little run in this Premier League table at the moment, you can slowly creep up the table.
It's so Premier League this season is outrageous. It's so inconsistent and so competitive, apart from Arsenal. But, they just clicked. They're actually really good.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were saying, Liverpool, again, only winning 2 in the last 8 games, yet still they're third, which just shows you. Anyway, talking about a team that are showcasing this crazy Premier League table at the moment is Sunderland. With only two losses all season.
They've been brilliant.
I just think they signed very, very well. I think they've. I think the main person I want to highlight was Xhaka. I think there was somehow convincing Xhaka to go from, now probably didn't take much with Ten Hag being in charge, but somehow signing Xhaka, captain of Leverkusen, in the Champions League, to join Sunderland, a team that most likely were going to be in a relegation scrap all season. I think it's a brilliant signing. He's turned out to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's the heartbeat of our midfield, and talking about experience in the Premier League, you know, Xhaka brings in a wealth of experience as he is at Arsenal and challenging for the title there. It shows, you know, it's a very good bit of business, and as well, they kind of didn't go hell for leather and signing people with legs, people who, you know, based off statistics, kind of went for a few older signings and a bit more experience, which has clearly paid off. You know, longevity was, they're not really thinking, if you're a newly promoted team, you know, chances are, statistics wise, you're most likely to go down. But the business they've done, you know, you're not looking at longevity getting into the Premier League. You're looking at just staying there for the first year or two and maybe building off that. So once you kind of get past that, you know, staying in the Premier League brings in a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if they're able to do that, Sunderland, if they survive maybe the first 2 years in the Premier League, could, you know, keep going on and keep staying up and avoid the relegation, you know?
Definitely. One game I wanted to highlight in particular was the Chelsea game where they played at Stamford Bridge. Now, they went 1-0 down to a Garnacho goal, but just the way they fought back into it, and even the final goal, with Robbie holding up the ball for around 30 seconds in Chelsea's box, no one closing him down. It was the reason I mentioned that is because I wanted to highlight one thing, and I think what they've done well is they bought depth in a strange way. I think all the players they bring off the bench impact the game, which you don't see with many relegation sides. It's almost like, you know, they splash loads of money into their starting 11 and then the bench players come in their championship level, their League One level. I think every player they bring off the bench impacts the game, and I think they bought well in that regard. You know, it's a squad rather than 3 or 4 individuals that everyone knows. Would you agree?
I would agree, but I will say for Sunderland, a couple of key players, Roofs, I don't know how to say his name, the goalie, he's actually really good.
Yeah.
And Isidore as well. Isidore is some striker.
Yeah, he's
a great striker.
Yeah. It shows as well, I mean, Sunderland, like the game against Chelsea, it shows right down to the last minute, they are fighting. They are staying up there, and they're getting in, you know, wearing teams down, and when it comes down to, you know, teams like, you know, Chelsea or whatever, who are like going to be focusing on trying to get top 4, and it's about the mental fortitude they have, and, you know, Sunderland have quite clearly shown that they can stay in to the last few minutes of the game, which is so vital. We've seen it with like teams like Palace, who have been able to surge up the league from just staying in it and being able to give it more in them last few minutes of the match.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And like they've done very well in every single game they've competed. I think another aspect is your man Ballard, the Northern Irish centre back. Yeah, he's such a threat from in this kind of the way the game is now and the way every team is taking a long throw and every team is taking a corner. He is vital. He's their equivalent of Harry Maguire in a sense of if he's up there, he's going to win something.
Yeah.
And he showed that in the playoff semi-final, which got them into the final. He's a threat from absolutely everything.
Yeah, he's a good centre back.
Now, talking about a team with consistency, and talking, you know, we're being all positive about that. I wanted to bring in Spurs.
That was sarcasm, I assume, was it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Only one win in the last 5.
Right, let's go on the Spurs rant then, shall we?
Let Robo take over here.
I'm sure you've seen it. I wanted to bring it in straight away. The video of Jed Spence and Van de Ven ignoring Thomas Frank when he was telling them to go applaud the fans.
Yeah.
Storming straight into the changing room. What do you think?
I think that was a bit blown out of proportion. That's not what I'm angry about with Tottenham at all, really. I think they were just frustrated because, to be fair, the fans were giving Tottenham stick basically after the 10th minute. But something was said about me actually on the Twitch.
No, it was about me.
About Killian. Harry Maguire and his Man United jersey over here.
No, the Chelsea game was so bad. We were so bad.
It was a dreadful watch.
It was. I don't think we strung 3 successful passes forward together. We were horrible. Every single player on that pitch, even Vicario. Vicario was good, saving wise, but shot stopping wise, but not distribution wise. What I mean, I think even Chelsea would accept that Chelsea team. It's not actually a great side at all. It's good. It's good overall, but Tottenham could beat that side. But then before that, we had a great game against Everton, 3-0. But I don't know. I see a lot of Tottenham fans at the moment kind of saying, "Oh, the football we're playing is really poor. It's really negative. It's kind of is this Thomas Frank thing working?" Yeah, we've won only one game in the last 5. But if we go through those games, Villa have got back on their form. Monaco we drew 0-0. Everton we won 3-0. Newcastle we lost 2-0. Chelsea we lost 1-0. We never ever beat Chelsea or Newcastle. Everton was a good game. I was actually quite happy with that result because Everton away is actually going to Goodison is really tough. But at home we've been so poor. I think at home this season, we've only beaten Burnley and Villarreal, a relegation side and quite a poor Champions League side. And that Villarreal game wasn't a good game either. But I couldn't really tell you exactly where the problem is. It's not really coming together at the moment at all.
I was going to ask you, is it a mentality issue that the players kind of... it's weird, I think, with Spurs, there's so many moments when you're just kind of crying out for them to go forward and not play it backwards. And I'll bring up a player that I think in particular has been really poor at this, but I think they're so inconsistent throughout the pitch. I know Madison's been a big miss and all that, but I still think...
You're going to say Simmons?
I am going to say Simmons because I think 60 million euro he spent, which is 51 million pounds, on a playmaking attacking midfielder who I watched again in that Chelsea game, and the amount of times he went backwards and refused to take on someone, and you could hear the crowd getting on his back. And I feel like as a player you should hear the crowd kind of if they're being negative towards you going backwards, then surely you have to realise I can't keep doing this. I have to do something.
Yeah. The thing about Simmons that game, I think he didn't start, did he? No, he came on.
He came on for Bergvall.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't actually think Simmons has been that bad. I think he's been all right. The problem we have, I think, is attacking threat completely. All we have is Kudus.
Yeah.
Simmons is a player who wants to take on a man and play it off to a number 9 or a right wing or a left wing or something like that. We have nothing in left wing or striker. Richarlison is so bad. Solanke's injured. Colomwani has not hit the ground running. Left wing, we have the option of Odegaard or Brennan Johnson, 2 players who I'd actually rather watch paint dry than watch. Brennan Johnson wouldn't take on a man if he was in a wheelchair. He wouldn't take on anyone. He wouldn't take on a 20-year-old. And then Odegaard, he just does too much. He's the complete opposite. He does about 1 million step overs, gets past one man, and he's just 2-footed thunderclarted out of the stadium. He can't do anything. Our only positive this entire season really is Van de Ven. Kind of our defence in general. Our defence has been quite good. And then Kudus.
Yeah, I haven't heard many people refer to a player thunderclarted, but it's a new one for the pod anyway. But no, I agree. I think one of the big issues is with even transfer policies, not just Simmons, I'm talking about other people, in a sense that it's buying talent that is unproven at different teams and hoping it works for Spurs. So the likes of Tell, Colomwani, Odegaard, I'm sure there's ones in the past that you can think of. Exactly, and Ndombele. Spending money, I know...
That one's to watch.
Was a baller.
We'll never forget.
Was a baller. He was Streets won't forget.
But what's it called?
Streets will forget.
I know that most of those are loans that I mentioned, but they're pointless loans because they don't actually do much,
The majority won't. Tell we bought. Odegaard's not alone. I don't know why we bought Tell.
Yeah, he didn't do it.
He's horrible. He's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's dreadful anytime I've ever seen him.
But no, I think it will click for Spurs. I think we will. You shut up, Dylan. I think we will bounce back. We just need to get that home form back, really. And the same thing about we always lose to Chelsea. We've lost to Chelsea under Poch multiple times. We've lost to Chelsea under Jose Mourinho. We lost to Chelsea under Conte. We lost to Chelsea under Nuno. We lost to Chelsea under Ange.
Chelsea.
Yeah, the greatest chant of all time. But we never bring it to those London teams. And we actually, to be honest, we've gotten humiliated for the last 5 years against the Arsenals and the Chelseas of the world because we never beat them ever. It's very Spursy way of things. We just don't beat our rivals for some reason, apart from West Ham.
Yeah,
in class as rivals at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. I think Spurs just need to look at their recruitment and realise, okay, we need to build people that are good for the squad. They're not just individuals, because I think there's a lot of individuals in that team. I think one individual I'd like to name is Jed Spence. I think there's this weird thing that he's this unbelievably consistent wing back that's defending. He makes that himself on Instagram with those posts, which I know people find funny, but in games he isn't really locking up the attackers.
I wouldn't say that now. I'd actually think Spence is quite as a one-on-one defender. He's extremely good. It's going forward he struggles with. I think Udogie's a better fit in left back.
I think
because he's left-footed and also goes forward well. But Spence he has locked up a lot of attackers. So far, he has a bit of an ego, but
he does have a bit.
I don't mind that. I don't mind an ego. It's about time. I'm sick of this robotic stuff. I swear there. Sorry, I'm sick of all the robotic stuff in football. You don't have anyone kind of posting about this like Spence is. I don't mind Spence. Spence isn't as big a problem as a flipping Bentancur or something.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And on a similar kind of note, as we're talking a bit critical about a team, I think one team that we should mention is Wolves, who yesterday sacked their manager.
Yep.
Now, I actually wanted to bring in an interesting point about Wolves, more about their ownership than their actual performances on the pitch. But first, 2 points this season, 2 draws, 8 losses. They've only scored 7 goals. They've conceded 22. I think a clear issue is them going forward. 7 goals is just dreadful for how much you're conceding. But one thing I think that is interesting is they spent £140 million in the summer. Now, you wouldn't expect that from Wolves, but they earned back from fees £137 million. But all the transfers they made were after they received money from the likes of Cunha, for the likes of Aiton Uri. They didn't get money themselves. The owner didn't pump money into them. They spent money that they got from signings, which I didn't realise. Their biggest signing was Strand Larsen, which I didn't realise.
Did you know that?
No, I thought they had him. They bought him the year before, but they bought his loan. And some of the signings, Fer Lopez for £23 million. They had a loan fee for a centre back from Girona that was £22 million. I got John Arias, was £17 million. They had a striker from Genk, which is £25 million. That's a lot of money for players that just aren't doing anything for them.
Yeah. Wolves really aren't. They did so bad. Strand Larsen was so sought over in that transfer window from, I think it was Newcastle. So they were so close to losing Strand Larsen. He's being glazed and glazed. And when they kept him, everyone was like, wow, how have Wolves kept Strand Larsen?
Yeah.
He's been so bad.
He's been dreadful. He's been absolutely dreadful.
Wolves as a whole have been just terrible. I barely watch them. They're just so terrible. Although they drew to Spurs, so there you go.
Cunha and Aiton Uri, the 2 saving graces are gone,
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on,
you can't blame it on 2 players.
Brentford lost Wissa and Mbuemo, but they're still doing better than Wolves, and I would argue their squads are very similar.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
And they probably lost more with
Cunha and with Mbuemo.
What's his name? Norgard. That's another player.
Yeah.
So they've lost, as you said, they've lost more. And And I just think another manager sacked, and Gary O'Neill's under consideration, according to David Ornstein, and also Ten Hag.
Will he be back?
Do you see it getting better? Do you see them at all staying up? Because right now it's as bleak as it's ever been.
No.
I don't see them avoiding the drop, to be honest.
No.
I think at this point it would take a miracle to turn around kind of the hole they dug themselves into.
It's genuinely just too competitive.
Yeah.
Like, Wolves are literally the odd one out. Like, even West Ham they beat Newcastle 3-1. They've actually, what's his face? Nuno's brought them back to kind of actually looking like a decent side. I think Wolves are the complete odd one out in this Premier League. Every other side, I think, have a good chance of staying up, apart from Wolves.
They look like a championship contender.
Yeah.
One thing that I say, and I don't know if you are the same, but I look at that Wolves team, and normally I think the average football watcher can identify 4 or 5 names in a team. They might not know the rest of them. Mm-hmm. I look at that Wolves team, I think I can name 2 or 3, and I don't know where these players have come from. I don't know who's recruiting them, but it's just not good enough.
No.
And they are owned by a very rich Chinese man who owns one of the largest Chinese investment groups. However, he's only attended 2 games as an entire ownership, and that's been over 5 years. He's just not giving them the money. And I've spoken to Wolves fans before this podcast. I didn't know the full background, and they were telling me that it is a big issue, and for years it's been a big issue. And at one point, I believe they were owned by kind of a Portuguese group that knew links with the likes of Mendes, and that's how they're getting Moutinho and Neves and Jota and all those, you know. And now, look, they're not getting any money. And any money they are getting, they're spending on not good talent.
Yeah, no, the talent's not great at all in Wolves. They're genuinely very boring to watch just because they're that bad.
Exactly. And I'm not sure if you've seen it, the game they played against Sunderland, how bad they were defensively. They made Sunderland look brilliant for the first goal, just easily ripped into, and then the second one, it was an own goal from around 20 yards. They just very poor defensively as well. But I also agree with you that losing Cunha and Aït-Nouri for any team is a big hit. But
it's certainly an impact.
The Brentford debate is also a good one. I think we should move on to our predictions.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Now, there is one game tonight, and it is Sunderland, but we won't do that one because that does kick off in an hour's time. We've also got Champions League this week, but I think there's a lot to talk about there, so I think we're better off talking about the Premiership.
Yeah.
And no better game to start. And I know Ethan's licking his lips at this. And he's talking about Spurs' home performances, and they haven't been good now. And 12:30 on Saturday, they play Man United.
The early kickoff.
What do you think?
Oh, no, it's not. It's a Friday. Honestly, I'd be more confident going to Old Trafford.
Yeah, well, after what you've said, I agree with you.
I would feel so much more confident Spurs going to Old Trafford.
Yeah, their away record has been better than their home record.
Yeah, way better in the Premier League. We've not lost away in the Premier League. Against United, good form you're in Tottenham, and we've a terrible form. It's a tough one to predict. You haven't beat us in how long? 5 years? 3 years? Since 2022, was it?
I don't even know. The last time we beat Spurs was...
It was Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. It was. I remember the game. I just think it was 2022.
And that goal.
Actually, the last time we beat Tottenham was at home in Old Trafford, and Bruno and Fred scored.
Oh, was that 2-0?
2-0.
Right, okay.
Bruno. Fred, man, what a guy.
No, you know what? I still don't see United beating Spurs. I know United have a lot of intent to beat us with the whole Europa League stuff, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm going United to score early, Bruno Fernandes penalty, Spurs win 3-1.
It's bold.
3-1.
Bold.
Wow.
Just before you say it, we've only had one prediction hit so far, and it was Owen, and he's not even here.
Yeah.
So, and that's because he predicted a 0-0. So, anyway.
I think I'm going to go United 2-0. I don't see Spurs attacking threat. I see us unless Dallo has another stinker, which is very
Very
likely.
common.
Yeah, but don't worry, our
But,
left side's
Exactly, yeah. I don't see too much attacking threat, and I think with how our defence has been going and how our defence has been improving, I think I can definitely see us coming away with a win there. Just, what United team turns up, hopefully it's the good one.
Hopefully. I'm going to go 2-1
Who?
United.
Okay.
Because I think United's
2-1, safest bet in football.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm going to come away with my first right prediction of the podcast.
What a shock. The two United fans go United and the Spurs fan goes for Spurs.
This is the content you wait for, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I don't think we'll do every prediction for this.
The big games.
We'll do, I think, Sunderland Arsenal at Sunderland is going to be a belter of a game. I think that's almost Arsenal's toughest test in recent weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you like to start, Ethan?
I have to go 2-0 Arsenal, which pains me. I don't see anyone beating them at the moment. They're too good.
Yeah.
Little set piece warriors. I guarantee you Gabriel scores one and probably flipping Declan Rice scores the other, something like that. Or David Raya. He's like the only one who hasn't scored yet for them, I think.
I see it. Arsenal, I just don't see them losing as well. I'd say 3-0. I'd say it's going to be quite one-sided. No chance, really.
Yeah. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go 1-0 Sunderland.
Ooh.
I think Sunderland have really impressed me in recent weeks. And I think they're the kind of relegation version of Arsenal in the sense that, although they're doing very well, I mean that like all they kind of do is that they're into their throw-ins, they're into their corners, but they also hit you on the break.
Yeah.
They're very, very quick, and they're very solid defensively. So I think it'll be a real test, and I want to see a proper performance from Sunderland, which I'm sure they can do.
I'd love to see that, to be honest.
We got a few good games on the Sunday. Villa Bournemouth, I think that's a good game.
Yeah, it's Villa need a bounce back after that defeat against Liverpool. But I don't think they're gonna be able to get it.
I don't think so.
I think Bournemouth, although I think they're going well enough that they should beat Villa. I'd say 2-1. Go safe. But,
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'll go 2-0 again.
2-0.
Before the City game, Bournemouth were 8 games unbeaten, and that is City. That is a,
Extremely strong City side.
Exactly. Villa are 4 games winning on the bounce against Liverpool. Now they have lost in other competitions, but it's going to be that's 2 teams that have a good record at the moment.
What was your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw as well.
Yeah.
I think both teams are really good, but I think I would back Bournemouth to win. It was in Bournemouth because it's in Villa. I'm going to go 1-1. I think that's fair.
We'll do 2 more. I'll let you choose between Brentford, Newcastle, Palace, Brighton. Which one would you like to do?
Palace, Brighton.
Okay.
All right.
Obviously, Palace, we all know, they're currently unbeaten at Selhurst Park in the last 11 games. Obviously, in the Premier League. Mateta's in excellent form. He's got 21 goals in his last 27 starts under Oliver Glasner.
Really?
Yeah.
I swear he hadn't scored this season apart from that hat trick.
No. Mateta's been.
I had him at FPL. He just did nothing.
First 3 weeks I think he scored.
Yeah, he's been doing. He's
done quite well.
Good player.
In the last 2 games against each other, Palace have won both. One 2-1 and the other one 3-1. So I'm going to follow a similar trend. I'm going to go 2-1 Palace.
Safer score again. How many is that now, Killian?
Every team's scoring 2 for me at the moment. Actually, except Sunderland.
I'm going to go 1-0 Palace.
I was just going to say, well, I was between that and 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0. I think Palace are too good I think Brighton are that great. I think Palace are too good.
Depends on, how they are. If Palace score early, I feel like it's going to be a 3-0. They're going to thump them. But if Brighton can hold them off, I think Palace will just nick a goal later on
Yeah.
and get the job done there.
Tell you what, there's actually a lot of big games this week. I'm just
Yeah.
And to conclude,
the big one.
the big one, Man City, Liverpool.
City.
Yeah.
City, I'd say.
At the Etihad, by the way.
I'd say they're going to thump them. I
Really?
really think they're going to thump them. I like Liverpool bouncing back. I think is a bit of a false sense of security for them. I think they're gonna. I think 4-2.
4-2.
4-2, wow. I wasn't
Because
expecting that.
I do think Liverpool might score 1 or 2. I think they're going to be relentless attacking, but I think City are just going to overwhelm them.
I'm going to go 3-0 City. I think Haaland's going to just really show how weak Liverpool are defensively.
Really, lads?
Yeah.
I don't know. Haaland's not scored against Van Dijk, has he? Don't think he has.
But Van Dijk this season,
I know it's a different Van Dijk, but you know what?
Van Dijk's been trying to twerk on people.
I'm not going to go City.
Haaland did score against Liverpool in 2024.
Oh, my bad.
And he
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
also scored in
Whoa.
2022.
2-1 Liverpool.
I don't rate the City team as highly as everyone else. I think if Haaland's not having a good game, that team's not having a good game. I think Liverpool have a better overall squad, even if they're not in the right form. I think they can do it against City. I think 2-1's fair.
Fair enough.
Well, that's been us for this week. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. It's been interesting getting back into it. Now,
It's been a pleasure, lads.
hopefully we've done well this time with the predictions. I think there's some bold ones out there, but you never know. And yeah, thank you everyone for the chats.
And hopefully I'll be buzzing to tell you like Bows get Europe after Rovers beat Cork on Sunday. So
Yeah, we have that to talk about next week.
And hopefully Owen will be back.
Exactly. Hopefully we have
finish the O part.
he can take over for me because if Bows get Europe, I will not be sober.
Anyway, thank you very much for
Thank you
listening.
for listening, lads.
And yeah, have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.